Hey, how's it going? There's been a lot of news in Pentax the last month or so, so I figured I'd just make a video kind of just talking about Pentax in general and some of the stuff that they are going to be releasing this coming year. It should be a pretty exciting time for Pentax. So first off, let's talk about the biggest, latest news was the announcement of the 70 to 210 lens, which seems like a really nice lens. I'm going to talk about it a little bit, but let me show you my 70 to 210 right here. This one is an old film lens. Actually, I think it's a Sears, but you see there. I just figure I'd show you this and kind of talk about it. You see those scratches on that front element? I get in lenses from time to time, and they'll have tiny scratches, but this one has some pretty large ones there on the front element. So I was like, oh, I wonder if I could actually get this lens to, the scratches to affect the image quality. And actually I couldn't. I took it outside and tried it, put it at f22 and, focused in close, focused far away, put it 210, put it at 70, and no difference. So those scratches don't even affect it. So if you find a lens that has some scratches on it, you could actually get them fairly cheap, and a lot of times, or the majority of the times, unless it's super severe, it won't affect image quality. So just a thought there. But let's talk about the 7210 that they just announced. Plastic body, which is nice. I kind of like the plastic body. As I get older, I like the lenses not to weigh a ton, so I'd rather have a plasticky body. But if generally when you have a plasticky body, the price isn't that high. It's $1,100, and plus it's not a star lens, so that was kind of made me wonder there. I'm sure in a couple of months it'll probably go down a couple of $100, but that's still pretty pricey for that lens. I thought the price should have been around $700 would be one that I would think about actually buying it. I mean, you could go back and there's tons of different brands that make this 70 to 210. Yeah, it would be manual focus, but yeah, $1,100 is kind of pricey. But it did intrigue me because the weight of it, and also why do they put the they have that PLM motor that they released. I hadn't tried it out in that 300 zoom. 55 to 300 zoom, and everybody has good things to say about that. I'm wondering why they're not putting it in some of these newer lenses that they release. They're still using that SDM, which is known to have some issues. I had a 300 millimeter prime that it went out in, so yeah. So I don't know why they don't put that PLM in more lenses and stuff. What else we got here? Oh, the flagship camera. They came out and said it's pushed back a little bit, but they're supposed to make an announcement in summer of this year, which is nice. Everybody's been waiting for it. But my thoughts about that is, in this 70 to 210, when that came out, I was like, man, that's for full frame K1. I was like, man, should I go buy another K1? Since this is lighter weight, it wouldn't add a lot of weight to it. Yeah, so that made me think about that, because I kind of missed the K1, but it is, like I said, I'm getting older and I like lighter weight cameras and such, especially if you're going on a hike and stuff just like that. So anyway, so the flagship, and I'm remembering when the KP came out, I think it was $1,100 or $1,200. So are they going to make this flagship around that price point? Because in the past they've made their cameras a little cheaper than the competitors, which was one of the things I liked about Pentax. Was they were cheaper, and they had more features in them. So I'm wondering what the price point is on this flagship camera. If it's $1,200, guess what? You can buy a K1 used for $1,200, and it will be a full frame sensor instead of crop sensor. So it's like, this got me thinking. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is the 85 millimeter f1.4. They had their list of lenses that they were going to announce or release in the future. So that's one. I'm not a portrait photographer, so I'm not really like super excited about it coming out or whatever. I'd rather see like a 135 f2 lens come out than an 85 f1.4 myself. That used to be the more the standard for the portrait photographers was the 135 f2.8 lens, which they made a ton of back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, from various companies. So I'm not sure when it kind of flipped over. There was some more expensive 85 f1.4s. I guess if you were that came out, that are really super expensive because they didn't make too many of them. So yeah, I guess that's it. I do have a really, really special announcement coming out next week. So if you hadn't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. But make sure you watch that video. It's going to be really cool. I think all the Pentaxians out there are going to be intrigued with it. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Also, if leave a comment below if there's anything you want me to do a video on that I hadn't done a video on, or a how-to. How-tos are kind of fun. I might do a couple of those. Maybe some double exposures, or just go over the digital effects in the camera. I know a lot of people don't like those, but occasionally they're fun just to get out there and try. And last but not least, I did that video, was it last week or so, about my date with the Pentax K70, and I was bragging about my Dolica Proline tripod. Well, guess what? It broke, finally, after 10 years. The little flippy thing, lock mechanism broke right there. So actually I have to so the tripod that the K70 is on now, that's one of those. The cool thing about these is they're around 30 bucks, 30, 50 bucks, I can't remember the exact price, but no other tripod in that price point has where you could put a different ball head on here, so it just unscrews and you can take it off. That's a feature that cheaper tripods don't have. The ball head that comes on it originally isn't very good, so you need to replace it if you get one of these, and I strongly recommend getting one of these tripods. Anyway, thanks again. Listening to me blabber on. Stay tuned next week. Big announcement. Thanks.